We live. Clem, it's going to happen. I mean, they're going to sell. It's happening. The wheels are in motion. The pre-approvals are out there. Allen and company have already kind of listed all the people who are involved for a July 9th date for all the bids. That includes A-Rod, the Harris Blitzer Entertainment Group, which is the Philly guys, maybe the Rubin Bros, who the Rubin brothers are not to be fucked with. Those guys are powerful. I think those guys are actually like dangerous powerful. I think they like roll in some shady circles, which I fuck with. I like that. I want corruption. I want greed. And then of course, my guy, he's lurking in the shadows. Steve Cohen is still involved. I have said this all along, and I'm sticking to my guns. I think when it's all said and done, Steve Cohen will be in on the bidding process. And when a guy who has more money than anyone in baseball is involved in the process, I don't think he gets outbid. I do believe in my heart of hearts that Steve Cohen will be the Mets owner. I've said this for a while now. You know that. The only problem is the last time I was confident about something good happening for the Mets, it was right before the Royals World Series. Now, I still maintain that I was right. We should have rolled on that team, and we did roll on that team for 89% of the series. Yeah. We just somehow lost. And so, although I will tell you that this feels exactly the same to me, and that ended up going poorly last time, I think this is different. This isn't up to chance. This isn't up to fate. This isn't up to the baseball gods. This is about dollars and cents, black and white, rich and poor, buying and selling. And I think that Steve Cohen is going to come through and do it. But I'll also give it to you on this, Clem. It doesn't matter. They are going to sell. You don't go down this road and do the pre-approvals and have this company talking about the bids and the auctioning and all that shit and then pull out again. So we will be getting rid of Jeff Wilpon. That is a fact, Jack.
We will persevere. So I was nervous yesterday. Did you see the reports about how there were 7 bids and Cohen wasn't listed as one? But it's also Cohen's already like gone through that process because he basically had the fucking
exactly. Don't get scared by that. He's already a minority owner. He's already done this before. The bid process is to only clear you to say yes, you have enough money. Well, A, he's already done that, and B, even if he didn't, we know that Steve Cohen's got enough fucking money. Okay,
he's gonna be just fine.
Yeah.
The thing that scares me now that I'm kind of like have acknowledged that this is probably going to happen, or it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Positive vibes only. Happen. There's enough shit in this world to be negative about right now. We're going to be positive on the one thing, on the New York Mets of all things about this.
Yeah, you know how bad the world is? The Mets are the positive thing in our life.
Yeah, sliver of hope. It's like the only way I could see this getting fucked up is if Cohen goes straight, full Cohen and wants either to get his number, which I think he'd be smart about. He knows that he has all these other potential bidders on him who I think like the Rubin brothers, they could probably go toe for toe, dick for dick with him, inch for inch. But the other thing is like, they're not going to like go like, this isn't like if they wanted to buy Chelsea, right? Their fucking favorite football team, my favorite football team. They could fucking do it, and they probably go. The Mets are more of just like a smarter bid for them.
For the record, David and Simon Rubin are worth 18.6 billion pounds. So they're over 20 billion. So we're talking about a comical amount of money. They're the only people who could outbid the Cohen. But here's the difference. I think that they're in on it because they've got $20 billion and they're like, yeah, I don't know, we'll kick the tires on anything. Steve Cohen wants this team. And I think that, you don't go blowing $2 billion on something that you're like, yeah, maybe I'm in, maybe I'm out. I don't think. Again, if that happens, fine. The Rubin brothers, you can absolutely own my fucking team, bro. But I do still think it's going to be more the financial. Cohen is the perfect blend. The Rubin brothers have the money. I don't know if they have the determination or the desire. Cohen has both.
Yeah, Rapoli has like the local guy, the guy wants to do it the right way, and has like I think I've already thought of like if Rapoli bought the team, we change the dunk tank to the Pirates booty walk the plank dunk tank.
Or you keep it in the dunk tank and you just fill it up with body armor. and you're just getting dumped into the strawberry banana, which Big Cat loves.
Exactly. And also those Reuben guys, I was reading somewhere about how like they might have like had some sort of, because they like were in Russia business and stuff like that, and they might have like had to like deal with like the Russian mob, and they like survived it. And it's like, yo, those dudes are badass if they were potentially like tied up. I saw what happened to Alonzo in fucking Training Day. I know how those motherfuckers roll. They don't care, man.
Yeah, they fuck with Russians. They when you get, I feel like when you get to that level of money, you're not just like an average businessman. You have to have come across some shady shit or done some like unseedy things, because you just don't get to $20 billion without being like, yeah, we cut some corners, we buried some bodies, we did some things, you know?
Yep. And I do think like at the core of this, the reason the Wilpons don't want to sell is because like the Mets are like the gem of the family or whatever. It's like the thing that they're proudest of. But like the only way I can see us getting fucked is if either A, Stevie doesn't go all the way in, or B, it's like someone's like, listen, you guys could just have SNY. I just want the team. Yeah. But I think Stevie wants the team. I don't think Stevie gives a fuck about making money on SNY. That's the thing about it.
I don't think it's so weird when you're talking about that level of wealth. I don't think he like cares about any of this. That's why I think he was able to walk away, where it's just like, well, I don't need this. But I think if you're going to buy a operation, I think you want the whole thing. I think that, it's like, hey, let me buy this thing, but almost from a pride point of view of the Wilpons being like, but we get to keep the most profitable part. I think the businessman in him won't let him walk away from the negotiating table being like, okay, fine, you can have the biggest cash cow of this operation. I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe he just wants the team. I think the important thing to remember here is that whoever it is will make more money than the Wilpons. Like, I'm a little bit worried about like the A-Rod group. They're backed by billionaires, so like the money will be there. But I'm a little bit worried about like, are you really gonna be that much? Are you wealthy enough to really like drop your dick on the table and make splash moves and all that shit? But just by the nature of being a New York City franchise that is now got this new invigoration where it's like, hey, we have new blood in here. There's going to be more ticket sales. There's going to be more jersey sales. The team is on the rise. Like, you will make more money. So, I'm thinking if I'm negotiating, if I'm Steve Cohen and I'm like, I'll give you $1.6 billion, and they're like 1.9, not a penny less. Part of me would want to tell Jeff Wilpon to go fuck himself. Part of me would absolutely acknowledge that the uptick you're going to see in popularity and profitability from the Mets, the new Mets, $300 million you'll make back in like a fucking day. So like, let's not nickel and dime this investment, because you're getting a baseball franchise, but you're getting a whole new baseball franchise that is going to be more profitable than anything you can predict. You can't look at the past financials. You can't look at the history, because it's going to be completely and totally different. So I hope that whoever it is just ponies up whatever. I don't want you to overpay. I don't want the Wilpons getting more than they deserve. But I hope you just have the foresight to know it ain't worth walking away. If you're going to do a billion or multi-billion dollar operation investment, don't walk away over like $100 million or $150 million, because that's going to be that's coming back to you. Don't worry.
We've seen it. We saw it last season. Every time there's just like a hint of hope and success, we come out in droves. We are crazy. We'll buy all the stupid shit you want to sell us, all the jerseys, all the stuff in the ballpark. We're going to go crazy. We're going to fill the ballpark. That's why this podcast exists. You remember Carabas said, yo, this fan base needs, like, it's ravenous. It's hungry. We've all seen it. We know it. And that's the reason when we go out to the ball, we have Mets Fans Anonymous. We've been through all this shit together. We are the fucking supermodel that has been treated by the shitty fucking husband for so long, just looking for that goddamn divorce. And whoever gets us, we are going to make your life a paradise. And
dude, if good analogy. That's such a good analogy. We're like, we're the hot chick, the hot trophy wife. On the inside, we suck. We're a piece of shit because we've been abused and we're not happy and nice. And if you come along and you treat me nice and you take me on vacation and you love me and you talk good to me, I'll fuck your dick off and I'll be that trophy wife for you, and we'll make money and we'll be popular and we'll win. We'll be on top of the world. We're the happiest marriage in the world. We are just a sexy chick looking to get fucked right.
We're not even looking for like a fucking 5-star hotel or like going to a private island. Like, just take us to Sandals. We're happy with Sandals. Like,
just take me to like Outback. I just want a date night. I just want a date night occasionally. I don't even need to go to a resort.
we're going to we're spending our family vacations at like some Fleabag motel on the Jersey Shore,
Yeah.
where like the husband's literally bringing coupons to the front desk, and you're like, God damn it, man! I don't want to eat like wrapped donuts at the continental breakfast anymore. I'm a fucking 10. I was the hottest girl in my out of all my friends. I have a heart of gold. It's the supermodel plus the girl with the hair up and the glasses on in the 90s. Yep. We're 10s. We're fucking 10s. We deserve a 10 fucking husband. God damn it. Bring it to us, Stevie. Bring it to us.
I'm telling you, it's going to happen. Prince Charming is coming, and it's in the form of Stephen Cohen. And he's going to, you know what he's going to do? He's going to buy us artwork. It's going to be beautiful murals hanging on the wall. He's going to buy us the fanciest dresses. He's going to take us to the galas. He's going to throw us a parade. We are going to be the belle of the fucking ball. And you know what else? There's like another couple, right? There's like a crosstown couple. And they've been like the hot supermodel couple for a while. And they are not going to be able to handle it. There's a new hot bitch on the block. Like, okay, yeah, you're hot. Like the Yankees, you know what the Yankees are? The Yankees are like the 90s hot chick. Like bleach blonde hair, fake tits, like no ass, skinny. We're gonna be like the new age hot chick. Like we're gonna be like the brunette with like exotic eyes with a sexy look, who's like thick and curvy and like down to fuck. We're the new hot chick, and the old hot chick's gonna be all sorts of threatened. Yankee fans are not gonna know what to do. If it's Steve Cohen or the Rubin brothers and the Mets come in and they change everything and they clean house and they do it the right way, they ain't gonna be ready for like, you know, in town competition where it's like you're not the only belle of the ball anymore. You're not the only hot ticket in town.
We're beauty and brains and heart and soul. Us Mets fans, everyone knows it. We have character. We have fucking character.
We have character, and we've never had the goods, right? I'll tell you something. Mets fans with like when we got backup, when we can back up our shit talk and all of our ridiculous emotions with, hey, we're just a good team who wins. Watch out. Because I've always said this about the Yankee fans. They don't know how to talk shit. They don't know how to bust balls. They don't know how to be normal. Yesterday we were talking about Derek Jeter's catch. Yes Network tweeted out the Derek Jeter diving into the stands catch. They said, this is one of the most amazing plays you will ever see. It's a pop-up that was caught in fair territory where he ran into the stands. Now, were the circumstances important? Yes. Was it a great play? Yes. Did he have to dive into the stands? I don't believe so, but I'm also not going to tell you that he should have just been camped out underneath it. Whatever. We can debate the actual ins and outs of that play.
His weak-ass skin instantly bruising helps him, too. His weak-ass fucking pretty boy skin.
Out bleeding. But like Pokey Reese made a catch that was far better than that in that same game, I believe. A lot of other players, I do think, at least don't have to dive into the stand. Whatever. We can debate that. My point is, I quote tweeted that and I said, like, come on, like let's not be silly here. Like, this is not one of the best plays you'll ever see. And Yankee fans were in my mentions saying, what about this play? And it was the Wainwright curveball. And I'm like, that's just not fun. Like, that just doesn't connect. I'm talking about a diving play. We're talking about overrated shortstop plays. I was talking about how Pokey Reese's catch was better than his. And you're showing me a strikeout. It's just like, you guys just don't know how to do this. And I don't know where you lost your way. Maybe it's because you just spent your whole lives yelling 24, 25, 26, 27 rings. But the day that you can't lean on that, the day that the Mets maybe are the contending team in New York, and you don't know how to be, like, you don't know how to act, and you can't argue sports, and you can't bust balls at the bar and chat with the guys. I mean, you're gonna have nothing left. The Yankees better have a fucking dynasty run. Because if the Mets are even like slightly good, if the Mets are like perennial contenders, not like a dynasty, but if they're just like kind of like the Yankees are now, you know, the Yankees are pretty good now. They don't win a lot, but they're in it a lot. Mets fans, with our passion and our knowledge and our history, will be like, we will drown out Yankee fans like that if we're any good.
Insert the free real estate. Any Yankee fan who will probably say something like that when they hear this part of the podcast, whatever. The thing is, talk about real estate. We now have all those chop shops taken down. So any fucking person with a brain, which means anyone who will own the Mets outside of the Wilpons, will figure out a way to get that all, you know, built up, and it'll be fan friendly, kid friendly, degenerate 20-year-old, something-year-old friendly with bars. It's going.
When you're in that area during the summer, you really just looking at it, you can tell the potential. You're like, if there was a concert right here, one time I did a booze cruise that went around like the Sound, and then parked at the marina, and you got a ticket to the game, and then the boat took you back. It was the band on there was called Creedence Clearwater Revival. They were CCRR. They were a CCR cover band, and it was like an awesome time. It was I went with Jay Hay from Starting Nine. We had a great time. But you get there, and it's the chop shops, and it's the old dirty like dusty fields that nobody uses and shit. But you can look at it and you can say, like, this is a prime piece of real estate right on the water. The park is there. There's tons of space. If you did it right, not only would the Mets hopefully be a good product on the field, but there would just be like a culture around Mets baseball that you go out to dinner, you go to see a show, you go to see a concert. The ballpark's right there. The kids can play here. You can go shopping there. It becomes like I hate to say it because like I don't really care about the pink hat fans, as Boston calls them, and the bandwagon fans. But if you make the Flushing Meadows area like an experience, then that's when you get a lot of fans. You get women, you get girls. What's up?
Do you think that the Wilpons would buy the real estate there? Because they've been trying to develop that this whole time, and de Blasio's been blocking them out. I could totally see them selling the team, selling the ballpark, and then just setting up shop across the street to make a ton of money off of somebody else's like success.
Well, two things. One, I don't know if they can. I think this is happening because they're broke. Like, I don't think they have. I don't know. I don't know if they keep like their real estate money over here and their baseball money over there. I don't know if they're exactly in the position to be like a wheeling and dealing real estate developer. But if Cohen or whoever can come in and prop that area up and the Wilpons profit off of it, I mean, like, I want to see the worst for the Wilpons. I want to see them absolutely crash and burn. But if they own a mall next door that makes money, I don't know, whatever, so be it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to lose sleep over that. As long as that area, I don't care who owns it. If that area is cool and fun, I mean, part of the worst thing in the world, how many times have you been trying to get out of Citi Fields or the old Shea? More so City now with Ubers and shit. You're waiting for your Uber. They can't turn down that one avenue, and you're stuck, and you're walking, and you're there for like an extra hour trying to get out, and your only option is McFadden's. If you could just hang out, like, all right, I'm gonna go kill some time over here. I'm gonna go get a bite over there. I'm gonna celebrate the win or drown our sorrows with the loss over here, and then I'll get an Uber later. It'd be so much better. Right now, it's just this bleak, desolate area of nothingness and losing baseball. And I think the whole thing's about to change if you get the right owner in there.
That's the only gate that there's no parking lot connected to it. And that's their reason is that they want to shut that street down. If they can develop across the street and make it like Fenway, like Yawkey Way,
right,
whole thing, it would be like a completely different experience.
It would be, Wrigleyville-esque, where it's just like, there's this whole little town around the ballpark. You can walk, you can drink, you can buy shit. There's probably like an arcade type of, whatever, batting cages, all the like baseball culture things. I think that shit goes a long way. I don't care, me personally, I care that there's money coming in and new fans finding their way, because that raises, rising tides type shit. So
yeah,
I think there's a lot more than just buying the team itself or just the TV network itself. But yeah, I mean, I think that we're about to have, like, if it goes according to what I think it could and should and probably will. Like, if you're going to buy this team, Clem, wouldn't you be like, I'm here to do it right. I'm going to overhaul everything. You wouldn't just buy it and then continue the status quo.
No, I mean, you have to be smart with the payroll. You can't, especially with the way the finances are going to be both in baseball and just the world from here on out. But yeah, you have to invest in the team, and you just get rid of all the bullshit that, Jeff Wilpon has destroyed. And I'm sure, these guys have gone to, like, I know when I do my baseball trips, and we go to, when I went to Fenway, when I went to Wrigleyville, when I went to San Diego, and you just go to these like stadiums and the experiences just around them, let alone in them, and you're just like, fuck, man. Like, now Citi Field is awesome inside the stadium, but everything else about it has just fallen flat, short everywhere else. So if you can build up, and even just a part of that entire massive fucking real estate right there, which, I mean, it's like politics, but de Blasio, if de Blasio comes back, I mean, that would be even more impressive than the Wilpots coming back at this point.
If de Blasio's back, holy shit, that's a problem. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just a New York thing with the real estate and the permits and whatever, none of the stadiums, and they're all new stadiums, have done a good job. Like, I mean, Giant Stadium, MetLife Stadium, for being as new as it is a catastrophe. You look at all
catastrophe.
I mean, who was the latest one? I want to say, is it the Rams getting a new?
The Rams and Chargers have a stadium together, and then Vegas has one too. That
mock-up or whatever looked like incredible. I saw someone quote tweeted and said, like, at MetLife, like, you should be ashamed of yourselves, because it's like that stadium is not even like 10 years old, and it's just this hunk of metal that's still stuck in the swamp. Like, they didn't build up that area at all. The new Yankee Stadium, they have stands and Billies, but for the most part, they didn't do anything there. Now, I don't know if you can, that's in like the middle of the Bronx. It's hard to be like, we're going to clear this out and put in all these attractions. But Citi Field, the area stinks. Yankee Stadium stinks. MetLife stinks, and they're all new. I can't believe how much they dropped the ball on these modern endeavors. But I would hope that someone like Steve Cohen or the Rubin brothers, if you're talking about big money with big plans, honestly, those guys are probably looking at this like the team on the field is like my third biggest concern, and not to say that they're not going to want to win, but they're going to say, we're going to make money this way and that way and do all this other shit. If you do it right, it's way more than just a baseball team. It's a whole piece of a city. And I hope that those guys do it all up.
Yeah. Did you know that I think MetLife was $1.6 billion to build and Cowboy Stadium was 1.2? Now, granted, that's in Texas, which is completely different than New York in terms of prices and unions, I'm sure, and all that kind of shit. And there was also something with like steel prices with China or something. It was around like a World Cup. So it like it's apples and oranges, but like MetLife Stadium is the most boring, shitty. I hate that stadium. I don't even hate it. It's like I don't even care about it. You know what I mean?
A big metal bowl, and for being as new as it is, if that stadium was built 20 years ago and you were like, yeah, I mean, at the time it was great, but you build that. What year was that? Like 2012?
12, yeah. I want to say. Yeah.
You got the Super Bowl. I mean, that being a very modern building, all the other stadiums in every sport now.
2010.
I mean, all of them are like state of the art and fun and interactive, and this is just a gunmetal gray stadium. They dropped the ball so bad on that. I hope that.
But it changes colors for blue and green for Jets and Giants. So I mean that was worth it in itself.
Get out of here. So anyway, I mean, there's a lot to go with the business side of things, but I do think the most important thing, I believe it. It's happening. They're selling, and the teams that are the groups that are involved. I think you have to remember. I don't know if I've seen this, but do you know who's our boy? His name is Sell the Team. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. At Sell the Team 05. He is I DM with him a lot. We're always tweeting. He follows our Khaleesi, and every time Laura Goldman talks about business, he always jumps in. And he was saying that he saw fans being like down about some of these ownership groups. And I understand. I have my preferences. I have my pecking order. But do not misconstrue this. Whoever it is will be an upgrade. Guaranteed. Now, if it's a celebrity ownership group and they don't have that much money and it's not as big of a leap as we want, we can talk about the nuance and the intricacies of it. But this is a positive thing. And if I catch any of you motherfuckers claiming that you want the Wilpons to stay or you don't like the new group, that's where you become. A lot of people mischaracterize Mets fans as like, all we do is complain. All we do is complain about the things that we deserve to complain about. If we get a new ownership group in and you're complaining already, then you are just like the fan base that can't be pleased. I hated Terry Collins and I wanted to get rid of him. And Mickey Callaway wasn't the answer, but I was like happy to have some new blood in there, and I gave it a shot. You should not even have any sort of allegiance to the Wilpons. You should not have any sort of like nostalgia towards them or think that the new group is not going to be. Trust me, it will be better, and you have to act accordingly. And like, let's not be the fan base that complains every single time about every single fucking thing.
Yep. And once the Wilpons sell, we cannot complain about our ownership for a good long while, even if they're not perfect. If they beat Uncle Stevie, they must have something in their fucking pocket. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I look at it too.
Yeah, it's either like we get my guy, or if you somehow can beat my guy, then you're my guy. then I know who my guy is. So
then you're my daddy.
Speaking of my guy, happy belated Bobby Bonilla Day to you. At this point, I am a Mets fan who fully embraces Bobby Bonilla. I love him. He's the finesse god. I think that the Darren Rovels and the fans out there that have beaten this to death and still treat this as an embarrassment for the Mets. Like, it's old, it's tired, it's cliche. Every team has deferred payments. Everybody at this point knows that it actually kind of made financial sense if you were to follow, the investment vehicles and the timing of it all. And, I laugh about it. I think it's funny. And I really one day hope, and I'm surprised that we haven't done it yet, but I think we can. I want to get Bobby Bonilla on the podcast. I kind of meant to do it this year, but Corona fucked everything up. I think next year we should celebrate Bobby Bonilla Day. I hope that we're playing normal baseball again by next year, and that we can go to the ballpark and have a Bobby Bonilla Day, and we can all wear T-shirts and celebrate it, and maybe talk to Bobby Bo himself. I think it's a fun piece of Mets culture at this point, and anybody who still is bent out of shape about it, especially when we have a new owner. I mean, I would wonder if I was Steve Cohen, if you wanted to shake some of the old Mets reputation. What if you just went to Bobby Bo and it's like, how much more do we owe you? We owe you like 15 more. I'll give you 25 up front. The reverse Bobby Bo. Buying you out for your buyout just so that we get rid of this joke. I mean, to me, it's nothing to worry about, but I know a lot of fans, a lot of other fans love to pile on and use it as material. Fucking so be it. Happy Bobby Bonilla Day. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, Bobby Bonilla is the finesse god. Perfect way to put it. This is the thing. Fans think they're getting one up on Mets fans by like referencing it, and I get it. The name Bobby Bonilla, the New York Mets, who are like the fucking laughing stock of baseball, and it being exactly like right around $1 million every year on July 1st is like the perfect storm for like an internet story. However, if you go out and you try to taunt Mets fans on Bobby Bonilla, I see you as a children of Rovell. That's what I'm calling them. Anyone who does the Bobby Bonilla Day jokes every single year, unless you're a Mets fan, you're a part of the children of Rovell. That's the reason like Darren Rovell built his fucking brand based on Bobby Bonilla Day, and he just would beat that joke into the ground. And you are just nothing but you're like a little Slim Shady in the Slim Shady video. You have the Darren Rovell with his stupid hair, that stupid look on his face. You're a child of Rovell. So if you want to be that. That's fine. Hey, Darren Rovell, we can say whatever we want about him as a squid. Guy fucking made his living based on that kind of shit. So if that's your god, we have the Sons of Uribe, we have the Children of Rebel. Pick your side. Whoever side you want to be on, be fucking. I'm a son of Steve Cohen. Steve Cohen's my personal guy. If Darren Rebel's yours, God bless you.
We got to be like the Cohenites or something like that. Like we need to have a name for that group. By the way, we'll have to induct him into Fans of Anarchy. He'll have to be the new president. We'll step down and be vice presidents.
Yes.
He's going to have to be, the president of the gang. By the way, it's also tough to ever get one over on Mets fans when you're talking about bad ownership. It's like, yeah, we know.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the type of guy you can find me at the bar and be like, hey, LOL, it's Bobby Bonilla Day. And everyone's laughing at me. And I'm like, how much time you got, bud? Let's talk about Brett Saberhagen's deferred contract. Let's talk about this move and that move and all these other, like, they'll be like, all right, dude, whoa, I just wanted to make fun of Bobby Bonilla. We didn't have to do like an hour-long conversation. I hate it. I hate them just as much, more than you do. So, yeah, let's make fun of them. I'm okay with that. We're on the same side here. This is not going to go how you think it's going to go.
You're pricking a dude who's in like the intensive care burn unit with like a needle and being like, oh, I got you good. It's like if I say to a Yankee fan like 2004 3-0 up on the Red Sox, that guts them, right? Because that's like, that is the one thing. Bobby Bonilla is like 195,000th on my list of like complaints. I barely even remember him on the Mets. It was fucking 99. He was in the clubhouse playing cards with Ricky, all that kind of shit. It's like, again, it's more of like, it gave this nerdy fucking guy some shine. That's like my biggest problem with it. It's like it just brought Ravell into our lives more than anything.
I don't care about Bobby Bo. I care about how much Ravell benefited from it, because if it wasn't for that, who knows where Ravell is? He's he's the fucking star that he is.
If Bobby Bonilla Day doesn't take off and grow a life of its own, I'm not getting JFK videos tweet into my eyeball at 8:00 in the morning. I'm not having every fucking humanitarian moment immediately calculated into dollars and cents. I have like the internet's just a better place. It's like that meme where like it's like a futuristic world. You know, if Darren Rovell doesn't exist, there's a chance that like that entire Flushing area might already just be full of shops. We have Steve Cohen would have bought the Mets 10 years ago. Butterfly effect from this fucking Bobby Bonilla day. So yeah, happy Bobby Bonilla day. Shout out to the God himself for getting that cash, for making it like $1 million. Whoever his agent was, like he probably knew that,
right
that it was going to
right before the 4th of July. I mean, Bobby Bonilla has the best 4th of July celebration every year, every year. Because I mean, imagine that. What would you do? How about that? We'll do a little segment here. What would you do with your Bobby Bonilla money?
So it's perfect too, because like you said, it probably like it gets in the direct deposit probably on like June 30th at night, and then it takes like a day or so to clear, and then you just do a different fucking location for that July 4th party, and it is $1 million on the dot. By the time the last fucking cupcake has gotten purchased, that's like the last part of the day, or when you're closing the door and you're going in, $1 million on the dot. I am spending exactly $1 million every year in a different American. So you have to stay in America. It's the 4th of July, Independence Day, our country, and all that shit. I mean, Hawaii counts. Don't get me wrong.
I would do it different. Like I think the contract was for like 35 years, right? Like I think it's like a 30-year deal. So I would pick 30 cities, you know, in 30 different states. Because let's be honest, you can cut out about 20 states. You don't need to have a party in Montana. You don't need to have a party in the Dakotas. So you pick like the good states, and you have a banger party. You sleep with all the women of that town every year, so you can check off that you went to these places, that you slept with these people, that you partied with these people. It'd be like Tyrone Biggums. It'd be like, I'm having a $1.1 million crack party. Come on through. And it's always the bash of the year, because that's not money you should save. To me, that's a bonus, and it's money that falls from the sky every year on July 1st. I would hope that every year by July 2nd, $1.1 million is gone. He's like Brewster's Millions. You got a fucking day to spend this thing. Enjoy it, because you are the finesse god.
And we have to mention this part. It wouldn't be a Mets story if like everything makes sense and all the financials, it ended up being the right move for the Mets to make, but they invested it in Bernie Madoff, who robbed them blind, even though they ended up getting payback, and they just are cocksuckers as always, as the Wilpons are. But like that being part of the story is a legitimate part of the story, which just fucking makes you want to cry.
It makes sense. If you defer, if you take, you know, we owed you $10 million up front this year, and we're going to defer it. And when you invest it, risk-free rate, present value, money, all that shit, it all makes sense. It wasn't a bad deal. It was a bad deal to take that money and invest it with the Madoffs, because then you lose all of it. So Mets gonna Met, but let's not act like they're the only team in the history of the world to ever defer any payment. I have to extend a go ahead, what are you going?
No, I was gonna say, did you see all some of the other deferments that were going on? Bruce Sutter with the Braves from 85 to 91, 750,000. From 92 to 2021, $1.12 million. And 2021, $9 million. So like that is, you want to talk Bonilla? That is cash right there, my friend.
I mean, I think the thing about Bobby Bonilla is that it's a 25-year deal. That's what's crazy about it, right? It's like this extremely long thing. But I mean, what you just say it again? Say his deal. I mean,
so 85 to so it starts in 85 and it ends in 21. So
all right, so yeah, even longer. I mean, we're talking about a 40-year deal, and it starts out at like 1 million, and then what happens?
It goes 750,000 from 85 to 91. 92 to 2021 was 1.12 for 30 years. So it's 6 years, 750, 30 years at 1.12, and then a $9.1 million, which represents the principal dollars that were supposedly placed in a 12.3% interest-bearing annuity back in 85. That's Bruce Sutter's Braves deal, according to this Twitter thing.
Bro, that one needs to be talked to. I mean, that's where it really is the perfect storm. The length of the contract, but also it's the Mets. People just don't laugh about the Braves and the same way, but that contract is preposterous.
It's apparently $45 million for a $9 million contract. So that's what they end up paying out. And again, it's not Bobby Bo, the Mets, exactly $1 million on July 1st. And most importantly, that snake, worm, squid, bastard Rovell isn't the one that implanted. He inceptioned everybody. So
he really did. He really did, that fucking rat.
I want Steve Cohen to boot. Is he a Mets fan? I feel like Ravel might be a Mets fan. I want Cohen to boot him out of Mets fandom. I don't know if he seems like a foul ball guy actually who doesn't even have a team. He's just. I also feel
like we know he's all about dollars and cents. So I'd be like, how much for you to renounce the Mets? Here's like a $9 million check. Like you're not allowed to talk about us anymore. Fuck off. I have to extend a very warm welcome to the two newest Mets, the Milkman. Come on down. As long as you do your steroids, let's get the juice flowing again. Yes. I would love a little Milkman action. And Jared Hughes. Crazy guys. I like to affectionately call him Whack Scherzer with the double eyes. Now look, he's either cross-eyed or he does like kind of like a snarl at the same time, and he's looking off into the distance. I mean, those pictures of him, his stock photos, like his player profile pictures, are all ridiculous. And then when I found out that he's the dude who JT Realmuto was rolling his eyes at, that clip, Kyle, can you pull that up real quick if you can? That clip where he's chatting on the mound and he looks and he's just like, oh, fuck. And I think JT like spun that, and I think he said like he had an excuse for it. And you could even make the argument that it wasn't personally about him. Maybe you wanted the righty in and you brought the lefty in, or I don't even know what he is. He's a sinker baller. You wanted the fireball thrower. There's a million reasons, but that was just a guy going, oh, fuck, I can't believe we brought this in. Look at that. Can you imagine that? You're running in from the pen. You don't know until afterwards, but in the post game, you're sitting in your locker and you see that your catcher was like, ah, fuck this guy. That is tough.
That's every Mets fan when every reliever not named Seth Lugo came in last year, pretty much.
I remember being like, I feel your pain, bro. I know you're feeling right now, bro.
Crazy Eyes. I think Jared Hughes is my guy, your guy. I think he's the podcast guy off the bat. The Crazy Eyes. Not only does he have the crazy eyes, which listen, I remember when I was in Little League, and it was when kids first started throwing. There was this one kid that used to just like put the ball behind his back and just would throw it as hard as he could, and he didn't know where the hell it was going. Most intimidating thing in the world, other than having a guy who doesn't know how to like locate a pitch, which at this age you would hope to do. A Crazy Eye is the best thing you have. 60 foot 6 inches away. You don't know what's just going through this guy's brain.
You remember? I hate to give him props, but do you remember Andy Pettit? He used to like cover his face, and he would like put his head down but look up. And he had the brim, so it was like shadowed. And it was pretty fucking intimidating over that big schnoz of his. I think, the only thing worse than that, imagine you're in the box and you look over and you see this guy like, and he's taking you off. Like, no, yeah. I mean, that's as intimidating as it gets, man. Crazy Eyes is out here.
I'm giving him the name Mad Dog. Anytime, Mad Dog Jared Hughes, Mad Dog Hughes. And did you see he goes, hey, Mr. Met, challenge you to a staring contest, Mr. Blink loses, and he had a picture of his eyes and Mr. Met's eyes. So he's like self-deprecating too.
Here's the problem. He's terrible, right? Yeah.
So
is he bad?
I'm already spin zoning this. He had a 4.04 ERA. So that's not great, but he had a 2.88 in the year before in 2018 with the Reds. So that's not terrible. Career 2.88, and he was 1.94 in 2018.
Okay.
So there's something there. Something there.
I'm going to give you a chance. Now, the problem is, if you're putting the Mets bullpen stank on you, so you could be great, undoubtedly. I mean, remember the days of like when we had K-Rod and JJ Putz, and it was about to be like we've got Rivera to Wetland, we've got like the 1-2 punch that, and it just didn't work because it just doesn't work. So I'm not going to ever get my hopes up. Like Betances, he'll probably stink. I mean, you just getting your hopes up for Mets bullpen is just a bad idea. You saw the tweet that went viral the other day, said, write me a horror story using 2 words. Mets bullpen. Done. And a lot of people, I saw other fans saying, Aaron Howman, Armando Benitez, Braden Looper. I said, let's make this a 5-hour, epic horror movie. We'll just call it Mets bullpen. Loop them all in together.
Yep. So this is the 60-man roster. So if these guys even get on the club, that means something has gone wrong. Most likely coronavirus.
60 means like they're just expanding because you might have guys who get sick. It's just like we're giving you 60 men to be on the roster this year because of the circumstances.
I think it's like you just can't pull to the minors, right? Because there's no minor leagues going on. Right. So it's like this is your 60. So you have the 25 man and then the 40 man active. I imagine it's just 60. And then if guys get hurt, guys.
Right, but that's my question. Is it a 60 man active roster, or you have 20 like replacements ready to go?
I think it's 20 replacements ready to go.
Because I was thinking, if you have like 60 guys in the club, like that's a lot. So this is more, because you don't have your minor leagues, we'll just have Jared Hughes, Crazy Eyes ready to go if need be, but he's not going to be suited up like every game.
Exactly. We got Hunter Strickland, which that's the guy that fought Bryce Harper. That counts for something. Like these are the guys I can fucking sell myself on.
Yeah.
I'm sold on Hunter Strickland. And like you said, the Milkman, I feel like Melky Cabrera is the closest thing to a Met that has ever been on the Yankees. Like the name Melky Cabrera screams Mets, right? He was the Milkman. He was like, he was like a kind of like
that year. Like I remember kind of being like, I remember thinking like the Milkman is like, he doesn't deserve a nickname. He's not that good. And then he juiced up and he was batting like 360. Remember? He had himself like at least a half a year. I don't know where he ended, but wasn't he like contending for a batting title that year?
I feel like he was like absurd for a while there. I'm looking to see his best year he batted was 346 for the Giants, which is fucking ridiculous. So he had
with the Yankees, he batted 336 that year, and that was I remember being like, at one point earlier in the season he was batting, probably like 360. Oh no, wait, that's on base. Sorry. All right, so wait. He never had I thought he had big years with the Yankees. That was his on base was 336. So he never really thrived with the Yankees. So that juice year was well after his time with the Yankees, right? So the Giants. Okay, now it's all coming back to me. So yeah, he had his time where he was kind of like a little fan favorite of the Yankees. And then he put the needle in and he went off for the Giants. I remember thinking how fucking hysterical that was. And I remember the Yankee fans being like, well, it's because he's juicing. Like, we don't do that. We don't need that. I remember being like, oh, now you're going to draw the line with who juices and who you can benefit from on steroids and who you can't? Fuck off.
Melky Cabrera fits in like perfectly with like the Jay Payton, Benny Agbayani, like era of Mets outfielder that everyone just loved, and he had a fun name and whatever. And I, honestly, like he always felt like a Met. So it's kind of crazy that he actually got here, even though he probably thing is like I know 60 guys you have to just load up and just pick whoever. We have like 7 different gues that could play DH or a corner outfield spot. It just seems unnecessary.
He's got a slim chance of breaking through here at all. But I'll tell you this much. If we're like 8 games into our 60-game season and the Milkman is delivering, I'm gonna have you T-shirts. I'm gonna have you.
Oh yeah,
we will go all in very quickly on that one because that's a guy I want to root for.
The Milkman is our leader in the clubhouse for the Carlos Gomez of yeet last year, that kind of shit.
Carlos stunk, and we were like, let's go with his nicknames and his quotes, and let's like cheer for him. That's how desperate we are as Mets fans.
Rajay Davis was like a hero of ours for like a week or two.
The only one I never even gave a shot to was Aaron Altair. Fuck that guy.
Yep. My NC Dino.
That's why Bartolo is so beautiful. That was the perfect storm of funny, charismatic, nickname, big fat guy, personality, also good. Like he was good for us. And that's what that's how starved for players we are. Like as a Mets fan, I'm sitting here explaining to you what happens when you mix personality with talent. It's like, yeah, we know, man. Those are called superstars. Those are called the heroes of baseball. We just haven't had any. We got one now. I think we got a couple in the making now. I think we have
Can I hit you with one quick stat here about Melky? Mm-hmm. I don't know if you saw this. Melky Cabrera. Melky Cabrera has more career hits than. You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Fred Lynn, Ryan Braun, Andrew Jones, Jose Canseco, Chase Utley, Joey Votto, Mark Teixeira, Hanley Ramirez, Edwin Encarnacion, Dustin Pedroia, Curtis Granderson, Hunter Pence, Ryan Zimmerman, Matt Kemp, David Wright, and Nelson Cruz. I don't know if that's accurate. This is according to J.A. Taylor, but that's a fucking ridiculous list right there.
Wait a minute. More hits?
More hits. He has.
No way. No way. He has, I'm looking at Baseball Reference right now. He had 1,962 hits. That's more than Chase Utley?
Chase Utley is 1885. That was the first name that I had to double check on.
Shout out to Milky. That's awesome. Chase Utley, you overrated motherfucker. Chase Utley has 1,800 hits? What a fucking bum. Utley, you Utley, dude. Like, at least David Wright was like, his career was cut short and he always had injury problems. Chase Utley was just out here playing how many? I mean, he played 16 seasons, 1,800 hits. Like, get the fuck out of here, you bum.
Chase Utley's best performance in the MVP race was 7th. That's crazy. People have Hall of Fame first ballot. Suck his dick.
Dude,
he's an all-time Met killer, but that's it.
Yeah, no doubt. One season of 200 hits, man. I would have thought his numbers were far better than that. I mean, really looking at it, he had four like really good years, 5 with that 2009, and the rest is all. Man, Chase Utley's like the most overrated player in history. Holy shit! He had from 2005 to 2009. He went 28, 32, 22, 33, 31 home runs, 105 RBIs, 102, 103, 104, 93. His OPS never highest OPS was 976. Everything else is like low 9s, high 8s, mid 8s. I mean, I would take him on my team, no doubt. I'm surprised. I thought his numbers would be a lot better than that. Man, the Milkman is better. I don't think that's about the Milkman. I think that's actually about you put together a list of players that I don't think were that are less productive than most people would guess, at least hits wise. Wow. Good for Milky.
Good for Melky. Good for Melky. We got to slander Chase Utley. Like, I'm already in love with Melky just because of that.
If we did nothing else, who are we looking at here? This is an infamous picture. I remember this one of Milky and Robbie Cano with these two smokes. Wow, what that face. You know what we're gonna do? Like I said, I'll give it 8 games. If Melky Cabrera can have a even if he could just play for 8 straight games, I'll put that picture on a t-shirt. That face.
I thought I heard some kind of was it Melky? I feel like Melky and Cano, like when they were in the clubhouse, someone would there was all these rumors going around back then. It was like one of them would only have blowjobs in the clubhouse, and there was some weird rumor that was completely unchecked. Wow, boy,
the Bash brothers. They were like they were 2 guys in New York who were just kind of, I think, doing their thing on the low. I'm sure they had a good old time. But you know what's funny? Somebody tweeted this the other day, and it was I think they were standing on the base path for the national anthem, and it was A-Rod, Cano, Jeets, and I think maybe was it Teixeira?
Yeah.
And it said I can't believe this infield only won a single championship. And it really is true, man. You look at those Yankee teams. God, I wish they didn't get that one. If they didn't win that one, and they were on a 20-year drought, including a drought where you had CC as your big stud free agent pitcher and A-Rod as your they made the acquisitions, they made the trades, they had it all, and they got that one, and all it takes is one to check the box. But man, talk about underachievers. That team should have won 5 in a row. Holy shit.
And the only team they beat was bum-ass Chase Utley and the Phillies.
Right.
That's the only team they could beat.
Fucking Utley. You can't even outperform the Milkman. Give me a break.
Chase Utley is good for one thing. He 2 things: longevity, and if you need to take out some shitty middle infielder in a fucking playoff game, he could do that for you like a scumbag.
Remember that poster when we were kids of Don Mattingly, the hitman, where he has the gun and he's in the pinstripe suit. Well, the real hitman is Chase Utley, and there's no double entendre about baseball hits. We're talking about physical violence.
Killed Rubenstein.
Going out of your way to try to ruin people's careers and lives, you son of a bitch. Also, shout out to the Yankee fans. The scrambling they are doing to come up with this take that Luke Voigt is going to be better than Pete Alonso. We're talking about fantasy world here. So, we can also argue is a unicorn better than a fucking minotaur? I don't know. because maybe is Santa Claus better than the Easter Bunny? We're just talking about fiction here. Because if you're just going to say, well, you know what, maybe next year Luke Voigt is better than him. I mean, I guess you can say that, but I'm really fucking positive he's not going to be. You dumb assholes. Give me a break.
This is the first I've heard of this one. I mean, at least
it was
no.
Well, I don't want to go too far because I think it was just like a Yankee fan blog. It wasn't like it was on the Yes Network or on some sort of outlet that you really value their opinion. Let me find I think Meek Phil was the last guy I saw the quote tweet. Okay, Pinstripe Alley. Do you know them? Are they like I
feel like I've seen them a few times.
So it's SB Nation. Okay, then it is fair game. I was gonna say, if this was like John Boy or I don't even think the Short Porch is not assholes enough to even make this argument. But if it was like another Yankee group or blog or media company that I valued their opinion saying this, I would really go in on them. I thought that this was just a random fan coming up with it. SB Nation is somewhere in between. SB Nation is just a bunch of like freelance fans who get to write whatever the fuck they want. So there's a little bit of credibility here. So the Yankees SB Nation representative is telling you that the exact quote, they hedge it. They don't like go all in on it, but they said, shit, where'd it go? They said something like, Pete Alonso has grabbed most of the headlines, but when healthy, Yankees first baseman Luke Voigt can give him a run for the title of being best in town, which is, like, if you're going to say it, just fucking say it. Just tell me that Luke Voigt's going to have a better year than Pete Alonso. Don't give me this if and when and, well, maybe headlines versus production. Like, if you're going to do it, do it. But I think the reason why you're hedging is because you're fucking dead ass wrong.
Put your nuts on the table and say something that cannot actually be proven, but you actually believe, like Pete Alonso is the king of New York. Fuck Aaron Judge. When people say Aaron Judge, you say you have to play baseball to be the king of New York of baseball. So you have to actually throw your nuts on the table, SB Nation. One guy for me.
Don't get me wrong. Luke Voigt, I hate him. I always talk shit about him. I know he's a great friend of the program to Jared and the Short Porch. Luke, I hate your guts. You know this by now, I'm sure. But he is one of those guys who, like, I don't like him because he makes me uncomfortable a little bit. Like, fuck, he's the type of juice head who's going to park this 3-run bomb on me, like, in a pivotal moment. So I actually do like Luke Voigt. I think he's probably for his pick, for his contract. I'm sure he's making like several $100,000 at this point. Production through the roof in that case. But it's almost unfair to Luke Voigt to be like, put that on him. Like, he's got to go out and hit 50 home runs now. I mean, that's not exactly fair. So
he's also almost 5 years older than Pete Alonso. Let's call that one. He's almost 30 years old.
If he was like, young and up and coming, but I think we know why he was a 22nd round pick, and that's not, it is what it is. This is unfair. I almost feel bad. Like, it's like if we just did a segment like, who's better, fucking Mike Trout or Luke Voigt? It's like, yeah, fuck you, Luke Voigt. You're not Mike Trout. He's probably sitting at home being like, yeah, man, I know. Jesus Christ. So I'm not going to crown Pete being, like a immortal Hall of Famer either. He is the king of New York. But I think we know, I don't think anyone in their right mind, if you're picking a team from New York players to be your first baseman, we know who the fucking choice is.
I have a question for you. So I was raised this question by your constituent, your co-host on your show, Jared Carabas. So I don't even know if the Mets have filled out. I don't think they filled out that 60-man thing.
Real quick, we just saw breaking news from Louis Rojas saying the player tested positive. He'll be out for 3 weeks, which, you hear that statement, 3 weeks, fine. When you're talking about a 60-game season, that's a third of the year. Dude, there's no baseball. Come on.
No.
Clap. No.
I said it before the pod. I was talking to Kyle. I'm in a low place right now. I think the COVID, it's like those charts. Everyone's like they're how they feel every day. It just goes up and down by the minute. Yep. And like I had probably like read the Florida numbers in like the last couple minutes before this, and I'm like, there's no season. It's not happening. What are we even putting ourselves through?
Did you hear about that fucking asshole? That girl. She went to Florida, went to Miami, comes back home. It's actually your neck of the woods. I think it's up in how far are you from Chappaqua?
That's Rich, I am many tax brackets and miles north of Chappaqua. That's the first stop on my train, just to let you know.
Dude.
And I'm like 7 stops later.
I think of Chappaqua as Canada. The fact that you're that much further than Chappaqua is insane. But yeah, this girl goes down to Miami, comes back, has to go to a graduation party, infects the whole fucking party. We're doomed. And you know what I was thinking? Like, I believe that they told them, you're not allowed to go out. You can't go to the bars and restaurants and all that shit. Do you think that, like, on the low, these professional leagues are going to, like in sex ed, when they preach, use condoms instead of preaching abstinence, where we're like, we know what's going to happen, so let's be realistic. Do you think these professional leagues would hire somebody to be like, you handle the hose? Like, we gotta have like a way to get these girls in and out. We gotta have a way to like test them, to quarantine them. We gotta like background check them. I honestly think if they're not doing that, I think they should be doing that, where it's like, let's hire a bunch of hookers, make sure they're the clean ones, and they live in the bubble too. Because these guys are not used to being told what they can and can't do. And if they can't go out and find it, and they can't, hop on a dating app and just have them come through, you better be providing it for them. Room service for these guys in the bubble.
The amount of money that is at stake if these guys just go and blow it up just because, they got the hornies one night. I mean, it's over. It has to be.
They have the hornies permanently. They're professional athletes. That's why they like do this. They got the hornies, and they want to solve the hornies every night. So
look at Luke Voigt. Look at a picture of Luke Voigt. That is the face of horniness right there. That big old fucking meathead. That is horny boy.
The mohawk and shit. Oh man. Yeah, there's no baseball. Let's call it spade. But I think what was the point beside that?
No, so this was kind of going to the 60-man thing here. I don't think the Mets have finished filling it out. I mean, we're still adding crazy-eyed motherfuckers whenever. As Kyle noted, they were 4 hours late in submitting it and only submitted 50 names. So I was talking to Carabas about this, and he was like, how would you feel if the Mets added Tim Tebow to the 60-man roster? And at first I was like, nope, I'm officially out on Tebow. He had his chance. Now he's just taking roster spots. However, it's because I haven't seen that Denver Broncos Jesus Christ miracle run that he went on back in the day when they led to leading to that win over the Steelers in the wild card game. If Tim Tebow is going to have a moment, it is going to be in a 60-game season where the entire team catches a plague straight out of the fucking Bible. Tebow comes in, and it's not going to be pretty. I'm not saying he's going to come in, hit 100 bombs. But if we win this thing, and it's not a real World Series, but it's just like a Hallmark movie, it doesn't even go to the movie theater, straight to TV, I think I'd be in for it at this point.
What if Pete gets here and he's just flapping the wings? And he's like, I want to call Tim Tebow up to the 60-man, not for baseball. I want him to heal the sick. I want him to cure the pestilence and the plague. Turn the water into wine. Turn the wine into like antibodies. Let's fucking cure these guys. Imagine that if the Mets were like the only team that didn't have anybody test positive, and Tebow's just sitting in the corner like, all right, that could be a coincidence, man. Unbelievable. A lot going on. First and foremost is that ownership group, though. That pops off on July 9th is when bids, I think, can be like received. So like that means you can't even make an offer right now. Only starting July 9th is when the offers roll in.
Yep, I believe that's when it is.
Well, that's perfect. So then we'll have an episode exactly that day. Yeah, so 7 days from now, a week from now, the bids will be in. And we'll see who's in it, who's not, and we'll see who's coming strong. We'll see basically where the starting point for negotiating is. And you just got to cross your fingers and hope and pray and believe that it's going to be Stevie Cohen or perhaps the Rubin brothers. But whoever it is, you got to believe.
Got to believe.